I realized something was wrong, not because of lipstick on a collar or a strange name on a screen. It was quieter than that. We were sitting in the kitchen in the evening, habitually splitting sweets from a box she'd picked up on the way, and she was laughing at her phone in a way she hadn't laughed with me in a long time. I looked up, and without breaking the laugh, she turned away and covered the screen with her palm, as if I'd almost seen a password. Something clicked inside me. Don't make an idiot out of me. And right after that came another thought. Maybe I really am overthinking. I wasn't the kind of guy who just leaves and blows everything up. Quite the opposite. For the last few months, I'd been trying to save the relationship like someone holding up a roof in a storm, patching leaks, taking on extra weight, suggesting, let's try one more time. We'd been married 9 years, had a shared mortgage, shared plans, shared exhaustion. I asked her out to dinners, suggested walks, even couples therapy. She'd agree, then it would turn into, not today, I'm drained, or I have an early call tomorrow. Her words always sounded right. Her actions didn't. I caught myself on a strange thought. Before, we argued about everyday stuff, trash, mugs left out. Now we barely argued at all. She'd become even, polite, calm, like she'd rehearsed it. That should have been a good thing, but it felt like a mask. One day I asked, almost casually, "Why are you so late again?" She didn't even blink. "The project's on fire, you know that." And she immediately added, too fast, "You're starting again. You're overthinking." The phrase sounded foreign coming from her. I tried not to turn into a cop in my own home, but every time I trusted, reality slipped me small inconsistencies. She said she was at the office until 10, but her bag smelled like the street, like after a long walk. She said she'd had dinner with colleagues, but her delivery app showed restaurants near our place around 9. She said, "I'll be back soon," and soon stretched like rubber. The strangest part was time itself. Short, very precise windows appeared in her day where she seemed to drop out of the world and then come back, acting like nothing had happened. On Saturday, we finally went out for breakfast. I tried to be normal, not bring anything up, just talk. Mid-conversation, she got a message. Her expression went serious for a second. Then the smile came back. "Everything okay?" I asked. "Yeah, just work." And right away. "Don't start, okay? It's hard enough as it is. It's just work." "Don't start" sounded like I was already guilty. I started noticing more than just the phone. She dressed differently for ordinary days when, according to her, no one sees me anyway. A new habit, perfume before going to the store, and at the same time, less physical contact at home. Not rude, not obvious, just like her body no longer saw me as a place to rest. I tried to talk, not accuse, just say that it hurt. "I feel like we're drifting apart," I said one evening. She hugged me for a second, like checking a box. "Honey, you're imagining things. You know how much I love you." And that was it. No, what can I do? A few days later at work, a colleague was telling a story about how his brother's marriage was totally fine until he noticed his wife disappearing for 20 minutes every evening. People laughed. Someone said, "Probably texting." I smiled out of politeness, but inside something turned sticky. I drove home thinking, am I living inside someone else's joke? That was the first time I was hit with the feeling that I was being made a fool of, not emotionally but systematically on a schedule. The breaking point came on Tuesday. I got home early because a call was canceled. Her shoes were in the hallway, but the apartment was quiet. I heard water running in the bathroom and her voice, soft, almost laughing. Wait, I'll be right there. Pause. I missed you. I froze. The bathroom door opened and she came out with her phone, the call screen glowing, which she ended instantly. You're already home, she said too cheerfully. She held the phone so I couldn't see it. Don't make an idiot out of me, came back again. That night I barely slept. I didn't want to snoop, but I wanted even less to live with the feeling that I was slowly being erased from my own life. If I was wrong, I'd destroy everything because of paranoia. If I wasn't wrong, then everything was already destroyed. We were just pretending otherwise. The next day I remembered an old tablet in a drawer. I charged it, turned it on, logged into our shared family account. We shared a subscription because it was cheaper. The tablet pulled notifications and login history from the messenger. I wasn't looking for proof. I was looking for an explanation for those strange time windows. The logs were dry, time, device, network, and the same pattern kept repeating. Almost every weekday at 8:40 p.m., log in. Then at 9:05, log out. Then log in again at 10:30. And at that time, she'd be texting me, just a bit longer, or we're running late. I stared at it and felt my hands go cold. Even if it was work, why such precise windows? Why did they line up with the times I was usually in the shower or out for a run? I closed the tablet because I felt sick, then opened it again. On one of the days, there was a Wi-Fi connection in an area she never went to, far from her office. I sat on the edge of the couch thinking, I'm not a detective, I'm a husband. And yet in my head, a route was already forming. I also checked location history in our family service, just to make sure I wasn't mixing areas up. There were no movie-style dots labeled Lover's House, just fragments, connection to the same cell tower, a short appearance near that metro station, then office again, like someone was carefully holding her between two versions of life. At some point, I caught myself thinking, if I stop now, I can keep pretending. And right after, I'm tired of living on guesses. That evening, she came home a little after 9, smiling with, sorry, the day was hell, a quick shower. She put her phone face down, like that made things calmer. I said, tea? Sure. We sat down. I did what I used to call a conversation without accusations, because otherwise she shut down immediately. I need to ask you something, I said evenly, and I don't want to fight, just answer honestly. About what? You disappear for short periods, then you're back, and you say it's work. I'm trying to understand why it looks so much like a schedule. She smiled, but her eyes went colder. Seriously? You're counting minutes now? I notice, because we live together. You're overthinking again, she said without the smile. It's a project. I can't be on my phone all the time. But you are on your phone, just not with me. She put her cup down sharply. There it is. Why are you always looking for a catch? Why can't you just trust me? I want to trust you. Help me. Tell me what's going on. Nothing's going on, she said after a pause. Nothing. That sentence was a closed door. Inside me rose that same feeling, that I was being made a fool of. And I understood that if I backed off now, I'd be backing off forever. I didn't mention the tablet, not because I wanted to catch her in a lie. I wanted to see if there'd be even a crumb of voluntary truth. I said, then let's keep it simple. Tomorrow you come home and we spend the evening together. No phones, no calls. Like before. She went quiet. Then, I can't. Tomorrow's critical. Of course, I said. You're setting ultimatums on purpose. No, I'm asking. And you're turning me into the villain again. We went to bed, but there was a whole room between us. She turned away, and 10 minutes later, her breathing was even. Mine wasn't. The next day, I didn't go for a run. I told myself I just needed to calm down. In reality, I wanted to check one thing. At 8:30 p.m., I texted her, "How's it going?" She replied, "Just a bit more." At 8:40, exactly like in the logs, her messenger status flickered and disappeared. I got in the car and drove to the place she never goes. I parked a block from the metro and saw the entrance to a small cafe. I didn't know what I was looking for. I thought I'd see her alone with a laptop and feel ashamed. "I want to be wrong," kept looping in my head. She appeared at 9:03, not from an office building. She got out of a taxi, adjusted her coat, and went into the cafe. A couple minutes later, a man joined her. Older, confident. He leaned in, said something, and she smiled with that same smile I'd heard through the bathroom door. Then they sat close, too close for colleagues, and he put his hand on the back of her chair like he had a right to it. I didn't see kisses. I didn't need to. I saw simple, rehearsed intimacy. I sat in the car and everything inside went empty. There was no fear. There was clarity. I got home before she did and did the strangest thing. I cleaned the kitchen. My hands needed something to do, or I would have started breaking furniture. Short phrases spun in my head, like headlines from other people's stories. She said it's work. You're overthinking. I trusted her schedule. Trust died quietly. I wanted to be wrong. I became a stranger in my own home. Nothing's going on. Why are you counting minutes? It's just a project. Don't start this conversation. You shouldn't have looked. I checked once. I saw enough. She came in at 10:20, slightly disheveled but pleased. Sorry, I'm exhausted. The day was awful. I looked at her and suddenly realized I could speak calmly. It was like a switch flipped. Who were you with? I asked. She froze for a second. At work. With whom exactly? With the team. Are you serious? You're interrogating me now? I'm just asking. No yelling. No scenes. Just say it. She took a step like she was about to walk past me. I need a shower. Answer first. She spun around sharply. What is wrong with you? You've become paranoid. I was near the cafe by the metro today, I said. I saw you. Her face went blank, and in that blankness there was more truth than in all her explanations over the past months. You followed me? She said quietly. I checked, because you were making an idiot out of me. It's not what you think, she blurted, and I heard how that sounded. Then tell me what it is. She sat on the edge of the couch. Her fingers were shaking. He's someone from work. We were just talking. Do people put their hand on a chair like that for work too? She flared up. You saw a couple of seconds and drew conclusions. I saw enough. She covered her face with her hands. I didn't want it to end up like this. That was the first honest sentence in a long time. Then she talked. How it started as just talking, how I was busy, how she didn't get enough attention, how he understood her, how it meant nothing. I listened and noted how she still clung to words that sounded decent, but every time she said nothing, I remembered her laugh in the bathroom and those precise windows. I asked just one thing. Would you have told me if I hadn't seen it? She looked at the floor and didn't answer. And that was my answer. We agreed on a pause. The word sounds soft, like a vacation. In reality, it was an emergency break. I moved in with a friend, took the essentials. She texted the first few days. Let's talk. I'll explain everything. We can get through this. Then the messages got shorter. Then they stopped. And in that silence, I understood. The pause decided everything. Not because I punished her with silence, but because you can't keep trust on pause like a video. Now we only talk about practical things. The mortgage, bills, belongings. Sometimes she tries to pull the conversation back into maybe, but I'm not in that place anymore. I don't hate her. I don't even want revenge. Trust just disappeared and nothing grew in its place. Everything's fine now sounds like nothing's going on. The strangest thing is I still sometimes catch myself wanting to justify her, to say I was busy, that I missed the signs. But then I remember her look when I said I'd seen her. Not fear, not shame, emptiness. And I understand. It's not about people making mistakes. It's about how easily they turn you into someone who doubts his own eyes. That's it. Now, when someone talks about intuition, I think about those 20-minute windows and the phrase, it's just work. What would you have done?